who's as adamant about his or her position as I am about mine, whom you think is sharp. Seriously, we know that. And another thing, we heard him say that...
Hey sports fans, Larry Elder here. Welcome to another edition of And Another Thing. This, believe it or not, is edition number 60. If you'd like to be an Eldorado, go to LarryElder.com, fill out the form, become an Eldorado. You're going to get a free copy of Michael and Me, which is my award-winning DVD where I explore the Second Amendment. And I confront the esteemed director, Michael Moore, and I ask him 3 times, how many times do Americans every single year use guns to defend themselves? We know how many times Americans use guns to harm people. The question is, how many times are guns used to successfully prevent somebody from being hurt or being killed? I asked the director this 3 times, and 3 times he responded in a non-responsive way, but you have to get the DVD to find out. Now, episode number 60. I want to talk about this growing demand to do something about raising the minimum wage and to do something to make sure that we have universal pre-K. This is the mantra you're now hearing from the Obama administration. They've recently hired an old Clinton hand named John Podesta to sharpen their message. And within a few days after Podesta joined the administration, you started hearing Obama reiterate his desire to do something about income inequality. You heard the mayor of New York say the same thing. The mayor of LA said he's going to take the lead in dealing with income disparity, and he wants to hike in the minimum wage. What's wrong with all of this stuff? What's wrong with all this stuff is it doesn't work. Whenever there's a government program, ask yourself 3 questions, as my friend Tom Sowell says. How much does it cost? Who's going to pay? And will it work? He said, generally speaking, when you apply that 3-prong test, almost all the government programs fail. And raising the minimum wage and expanding universal pre-K are no exceptions. Let's do minimum wage first. Let me try it this way. I've tried to make the argument to the left that there are studies after studies after studies showing that minimum wage hikes cause pain. In fact, I interviewed a professor from UC Irvine here in California named David Newmark. David Newmark has studied over 100 papers in the last 20 years on the minimum wage. Turns out the minimum wage is probably one of the most explored issues in all of economics. One poll showed that about 90% of the members of the American Economic Association don't believe that minimum wage will actually help things. And according to Newmark, 2/3 of the over 100 research papers in the last 20 years have found pain. Still, the left doesn't care. So here's the analogy I've tried to use. We know that the left believes that George W. Bush lied us into the war. What George W. Bush did in reality was to rely on all 16 of our U.S. intelligence agencies. We have 16, and they have varying levels of certainty regarding a particular proposition. There's no level called 100% certainty. The highest level is called something like highest level of probability or highest level of likelihood or something to that effect. All 16 put the notion that Saddam Hussein had stockpiles of WMD at the highest level. And Bush yet is still accused of cherry picking the intel. Now, suppose 2/3 of the intel analysts, as is the case with respect to the papers on minimum wage, suppose 2/3 of the intel analysts had said, Mr. President, I know you want to go into Iraq, I know you want to depose Saddam Hussein, but you better pick a different reason because our analysis shows that he does not have stockpiles of WMD. And suppose Bush kept saying it anyway and then went into Iraq. He should be impeached, he should be convicted, and I'd be leading the charge. Still, you have 2/3 of experts telling you that minimum wage studies show no help for those you care about, and you want to do it anyway. Let's do it this way. We were talking a few weeks ago about the fact that the NFL is considering changing the name of the Washington Redskins. Why? Because a minority of Native Americans don't like the name. It turns out, according to a poll I recently read, 89% of Native Americans like the name Redskins, are flattered by it. Only 11% either don't like it or have no opinion. So 11% is causing this national debate on whether or not we want to change the name of the Redskins. However, 2/3 of researchers say minimum wages hurt and we don't care. So I tried that way, and it didn't seem to work. Regarding universal...
I hope you enjoyed this small excerpt. If you want to see the full video, got to be an Eldorado. Go to my website, LarryElder.com, log in, fill out the form. It'll cost you about $4.75 a month, or about the price of a mocha frappuccino latte at your favorite coffee house. As you can tell, I don't like coffee. I'm a tea drinker. See you next time.